It seems to me, my friend, that we were both born into an era where just by sheer pressure, everything starts to unravel at the seams. In previous centuries, it was harder to see, but now all one needs to do is take one intelligent look at the culture and place we find ourselves in to realise it's a complete circus. And after all, we all clearly bought a ticket. In my younger years, I'd watch the attractions, and I'd even be picked for some crowd participation. But over time, and with further analysis, I've realised that there's no good seat to sit in anymore. In fact, the circus is so packed, I don't think there's anywhere left to stand. You can't pick an act to watch or pick a side of the circus to cheer for, because nobody's right and nobody's wrong, not wholly. And even if you stand perfectly still and say nothing and pretend you weren't there, you're still in the tent. You're still part of the show. It's a sticky situation to be in, I'm sure you can empathise. But this all prompted a question in my mind. Is it serious? I believe that probably the most fundamental supposition of Western culture is that life is serious. It's not a game. And if it is a game, then the first rule is that it's very, very serious. We've all been taught that we must go on living, and that death is something to be ashamed of, that it's some kind of failure. You must have a head to be human. That's obviously not a precept, is it? Because no one ever tried to have a head. But do you remember when you were littler and you were up late and your mum said, "Darling, you must go to sleep"? Well, of course, being a child, you took that as a commandment. And you found out that trying to go to sleep is an infallible method of staying wide awake. In other words, you're being asked, you must do something which is acceptable only if you do it totally voluntarily. This has been dubbed the double bind, and it's a basic paradox that we get ourselves wrapped up in all the time. For instance, the first rule of this game is that it's not a game. Now, there is a Hindu idea that around all of this, around me, around my experience, there is a proscenium arch. I guess a modern version would be the square black edges of a screen, meaning whatever's going on in front of you is a great drama or a play. The play is called Lila, and Lila means the divine playfulness of the universe. In this view, the universe plays a game with itself, or God, or it. It hides from itself and then tries to find itself again, just for sheer amusement. Now that's great news. What a relief, because in the end, it becomes a tragedy. In the awfuls, when the world finally blows up, as it does for each one of us individually when we die. So from inside the play, it has to seem like the most awful tragedy. But on the outside is always the actor, who never comes out on stage as himself. He comes out as the persona, or the ego. And the hallmark of a very good actor is someone who can take you in totally and make you believe what is going on, make you cry and make you laugh. The word person comes from a Greek root of persona. Now, you might remember from your drama GCSE that personas were the masks worn by Greek actors in amphitheatres. It means through which the sound passes, because these masks that the actors would wear would have extremely exaggerated emotions on and a cone that would amplify the sound of their voice. But in a curious inversion of meaning, person has come to mean the real thing. Now you may think, well, this is all very well, but it's still somewhat disquieting to me, the idea that this whole thing could just be one great dramatic act. And I get that. I did a diploma in performing arts, and it's the same sort of disquiet you get around other actors who are very good. You're not sure whether they're acting or not. But it's also because we're still looking at the thing in a wrong way, because you still believe that something unserious has to be frivolous or meaningless. It doesn't have to be that way at all. Take, for example, someone going to see a great pianist playing the Beethoven sonatas, or going to see an amazing West End production. What you're going to see is entertainment, but you wouldn't call it mere entertainment. You still take it with sincerity and weight, because it's beautiful, and music is pure play. It has no final destination to arrive at. It has absolutely no meaning and no purpose beyond itself. If it was the way you think it was, then the best composers would be the ones who write the shortest songs, and everyone would go to their shows, hear one great final crash, clap and leave. I mean, let's just look at the world around us, everything other than us humans who are lost in our symbols. Look at all these plants behind me. Look at all the different species of plants and insects and animals, and then think about the stars in the night sky. If we were to then ask, what's it all for? I think we're asking the wrong question. It's obvious what it's all for. It's all music, it's all musical, and it's to swing to. But our culture is one where we need an explanation for everything. So we have different answers, right? Well, these plants need these leaves for photosynthesis and need these flowers to attract bees for pollination. And the patterns on a butterfly's wing are there for some survival dodge. Or you can justify it the other way up by saying, well, the butterflies with these patterns on their wings scared off predators, so they survived. Maybe. But the deeper you look, the more spurious this reasoning becomes. Because nothing at all lives to survive. That's silly. Living and surviving are the same thing, and you go on surviving until you don't. And that's just that. So back to the circus. How can we help all of this? Well, it seems to me all the more rational to treat this whole thing as a musical number and go on enjoying it and loving it all the same. Simply enjoy your time here and now. That's all we need to do. And if we could all remember how to do that, we'd all be in a pretty lovely spot. And I need not illustrate this with examples, but some of the most heinous acts have been committed in the name of saving the world. There are no goodies and baddies, there's just me and you, and I think you're right and you think I'm wrong. If we could all just stop taking it so seriously, if we could all just sit down and have a ball together. I mean, that is what God said when he made the world, after all. Have a ball. Well, if we could do all that, then maybe the tent would be just a little lighter, and maybe the world would be too. G.K. Chesterton once said, "The angels fly because they take themselves lightly."